So good morning everyone. We will be starting this session in another 1 or 2 minutes. Just give me a minute. I hope you guys are doing well in your life. And this is the festive season going on in this country. So we are hoping that you are paying adequate attention to your studies, because that's the only thing which is going to assure your selection. चलिए. So I have shared the link. Okay, sufficient number of people have already joined us. Chetu, Rohit, Suvind, Vicky, Sadia, Make Money, Vinod. Good morning everyone. Chaliye. So let's start our session with the explanation of these words by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So Dr. Kalam is saying that you were born with wings, don't crawl. Learn to use them, fly and fly. You were born with wings, don't crawl. Learn to use them, fly and fly. Now you need to understand one thing here. We do commit a very big mistake in our life, that we try to analyze ourselves by looking into others. Okay. By analyzing others, by looking into others' achievement, what they have achieved in their life, what are their skill sets. Based on that, you are going to analyze yourself. Now suppose, take example, there will be a runner, okay, the person who can run very fast. He has a strong legs, but you will end up working on your legs. Okay, you analyzed him, you said that he is running very fast, बहुत तेज भागते हैं, बहुत अच्छी legs हैं उनकी, and you start working on your legs. Okay, but you forget about one thing, that you got the wings. By focusing on your legs, you don't even realize your own potential, that you are carrying wings. This is the point here. You didn't use your wings with the help of which you can fly. You can fly really faster than the person who is running on his legs. That's the message that Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam is saying, that realize your own potential. Work upon your own skills. Identify which skills do you possess. That will be your strength. That will make sure that you will be able to achieve your goals by working on your skills. This is the point here. कभी कभी हम ऐसा करते हैं, दूसरों को देखते देखते ये भूल जाते हैं कि हमारी खुद की कैपेबिलिटीज क्या हैं. अपनी खुद की क्षमताओं के बारे में आपको जानना जरूरी है. दैट्स द पॉइंट हियर. वो ऐसे पढ़ता है, वो ऐसे पढ़ता है, forget about it. Work upon your strength. Identify which area in your UPSC preparation is your strength. Make sure that you are scoring 100% in that. Then you can move towards other areas. बाकी चीजें भी करो. I am not saying that you should not work upon, you can say, other areas, other dimensions. There needs to be a holistic preparation. Each and every area needs to be given adequate attention. But you need to identify your own strength first, because your selection will be addressed, will be possible only by working on your strength. There things are going to make difference. This is the point here. So you are born with wings, don't crawl. Don't crawl, learn how to fly. That's the message Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam is saying to us. Okay, so let's start this session in detail. Let's try to figure it out what exactly is there for us in today's newspaper. So as you can see on the screen, this is the front page that we have, and here it is talking about at 7.45 lakh crore direct taxes receipts, they have crossed the half targets. Okay, so it's a really good thing. This is the festive season. There will be more economic activity in this country. Government will end up making more revenue. ये अभी पिछले हाफ का डाटा है. Okay, अभी हमारा फेस्टिव सीजन जस्ट स्टार्ट हुआ है. So economy will take some leap, and definitely it's a good thing. Government will make some revenue growth as well. Now the point is this, there are few things that we need to look into in detail. थोड़ा इसको डिटेल में जानते हैं कि क्या एग्जैक्टली इसके पीछे है. So here, this is the exact data that is there in front of you, that gross collection has reached up to 8.98 lakh crore. Tax refunds are also there. Okay, tax refunds are also increasing, but if you look into the net growth is definitely there. Net government जरूर collect कर रही है. This is the point. It's a really good thing because government will be having some money in the hand. Why in the present time revenue is important for the government? Because if you look into the overall growth scenario in India, अगर हम आज के growth scenario की बात करें, so whatever number that we have, जो भी आपको World Bank कहता है कि 7% से growth rate होगा, IMF it says that near about 7%, okay, whatever number that we are having at present, that primarily is driven by the public sector expenditure. Because here in the present scenario, प्राइवेट एक्सपेंडिचर इज नॉट पिकिंग अप. एक तरफ आपका यहां पे प्राइवेट एक्सपेंडिचर पिकअप नहीं हो रहा है, सो आपके पास एक ऑप्शन क्या बचता है, दैट इज योर पब्लिक सेक्टर एक्सपेंडिचर. दैट्स द पॉइंट हियर एंड टुडे वी हैव वन एडिटोरियल बेस्ड ऑन दिस एज वेल. एक एडिटोरियल भी आएगा जो हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे. बट दिस इज रियली गुड डेवलपमेंट दैट गवर्नमेंट इज कलेक्टिंग मोर मनी because they have to play the prime role to move your economy. Government has already announced that government will be going for capital expenditure. They have already started it. वो शुरू भी हो चुका है and it is required in the present time as well. क्योंकि private sector इतनी हालत में नहीं है to you can say to go for the investment. They are not taking the risk because global scenario is like that. Okay, no one wants to end up in failure, no one wants to end up in loss, and the global scenario is quite uncertain. तो उसको देखते हुए private sector might not go for the investment in the near time, at least in 1 year or 2 year you can say. Okay, ये आज के आज हालात बने हुए हैं. Now direct taxes, when we look into the definition of it, they are usually levied on person's income and are paid directly by the taxpayers, okay, to the tax authorities. The person on which the tax will be levied cannot transfer this type of tax. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि suppose I am paying the tax, so मैं बोलूँगा election like taxation department को income tax को that my father will pay the tax. No. If I am making money, if I am getting the income, I will pay the income tax. That's the point here. Now majorly most popular direct taxes that we have is of income tax and corporate tax. There are further divisions as well. इसके अंदर भी और आ जाते हैं यहाँ पे. Okay, there is something called capital gains tax. Capital gains tax भी होता है एक, ठीक है जी. That is also a direct tax that you have. Okay, there is MAT as well, minimum alternative tax. MAT भी लगता है एक. There is something called dividend tax. The companies they issue dividend to the shareholder, and on that tax is there. Okay, then there is something called fringe benefit tax. Okay, तो एक ये भी होता है कि फ्रिंज बेनिफिट टैक्स भी देना पड़ता है कंपनीज को. ओके, बिकॉज सम ऑफ द कंपनीज दे डू प्रोवाइड फ्रिंज बेनिफिट्स टू देयर एम्प्लॉइज. एडिशनल कुछ एक हेल्प देते हैं वो. सपोज वन कंपनी इज गिविंग कार्स टू द एम्प्लॉइज, तो उसके ऊपर टैक्स देना पड़ेगा उनको. सो ऑल दोज सिस्टम्स आर देयर एंड दे कंप्राइज योर डायरेक्ट टैक्सेस. ओके, तो ये कुछ एक चीजें हमें मालूम होनी चाहिए कि कौन से डायरेक्ट टैक्सेस के अंदर फॉल करेंगे. नाउ here is the data in front of you and primarily the major source of government's income, revenue जहां से निकलता है direct taxes में, there are two major components. One is your corporate income tax and other is your personal income tax. Okay, corporate income tax and personal income tax, and it has been observed that in both these components significant increase has been registered. तो ठीक ठाक increase यहाँ पे देखने को मिल रहा है. So what does it show? At one point personal income tax भी increase हो रहा है, corporate income tax भी increase हो रहा है. It means that at least someone is making money. So relatively if you look into the Indian economy and compare it with the Western economy and other economies of the world, India is relatively a better spot. So that's why in the coming 5 to 10 years, okay, we have a really golden chance. Because at present global economies are not picking up. So it can be said that India is a bright spot. We can definitely attract lot of investment. काफी अच्छा खासा investment हम यहाँ पे attract कर सकते हैं. So this is the major point that we need to understand. ये थोड़ी चीजें हैं which was related to this. Okay, so here we'll move to the next news that is there. So okay, aap minister in Delhi quits over attending the conversion ceremony. Okay, so I would like to throw some light on this as well. देखिए, see, you need to understand one thing. Caste system is really a troublesome thing in Indian society. So it is normally associated with the Hindu religion. There are some people who are discriminated and they opt for changing their religion. Okay, so they may go for the Buddhism, they may convert to Sikhism, they may convert to Christianity or Islam. Now the point here is this: the caste system is so deep rooted in us, in the society, that despite this conversion, they will be still treated as, you can say, Dalits. They will be still treated as, they will be still discriminated by the rest of the society. So the mindset never change. Mindset kabhi change nahi hota, even if they are going for change in their religion. Now why I am putting up this particular point here? Because you must be knowing this, there is a debate going on. So right now the government, okay, it has formed a commission. The commission has been formed to basically look into whether the benefits of SCs, the benefits that SC community they are getting, the benefits of SCs, whether it can be extended to the SC converts into Christian and Islam. तो क्या क्रिश्चियनिटी के अंदर जो कन्वर्ट हुए हैं और जो इस्लाम में कन्वर्ट हुए हैं, क्या उनको SC बेनिफिट्स देने चाहिए? To look into this commission has been formed. So the prime basis based on which this demand was made, that SC status, SC benefits should be given to the converts, to Christians or to, you can say, Islam converts, was based on this premise that even after converting to these religion, they are still being discriminated. तो इसी बेस के ऊपर वो डिमांड की गई थी कि हमें जो है रिजर्वेशन का और बाकी बेनिफिट्स जो हैं वो दिए जाने चाहिए. That's the point here, because societal setup is like this only. Still discrimination is being done. आज की डेट में भी वो discrimination हो रहा है. This is the point here. Okay, based on this particular demand was made, or this debate is still going on. Okay, so one student is saying presently government has raised reservation on SC ST in its is it required to raise the reservation? See, the point here is this: it has still remained same. It has not been raised. You need to understand the SC ST reservation is in proportion to their population. वो population के proportion number में है, and it has been decided. वो fixed है कुछ हद तक. Okay, कुछ भी increase इस तरीके का नहीं किया गया. The demand is this: in reservation percentage is not going to be increased. The demand is this, that whatever percentage is there, whatever benefits are there, those benefits are to be extended to them. जो भी बेनिफिट हैं, जो भी रिजर्वेशन है, अफर्मेटिव एक्शन, इट इज नॉट जस्ट अबाउट द रिजर्वेशन, इट्स अबाउट द अफर्मेटिव एक्शन. जो भी अफर्मेटिव एक्शन हमारे गवर्नमेंट प्रोवाइड करता है, दैट शुड बी एक्सटेंडेड टू देम एज वेल. तो यहां पे रिजर्वेशन इंक्रीज करने की बात कोई नहीं कर रहा. ठीक है जी. सो दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज, दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज. सो अनुश्री इज आस्किंग हाउ लॉन्ग रिजर्वेशन गॉन. ओके, हाउ लॉन्ग मीन्स दैट इट इज स्टिल गोइंग ऑन, एंड देयर इज अ डिबेट कि रिजर्वेशन कैसे होनी चाहिए, कैसे नहीं होनी चाहिए, वेदर इट शुड बी कंटिन्यूड और नॉट, बिकॉज इनिशियली इट वाज नॉट मेड एज अ परमानेंट अरेंजमेंट. स्टार्टिंग में तो परमानेंट अरेंजमेंट नहीं था, लेटर ऑन इट वाज डन. बट माय पॉइंट इज दिस, लाइक माय क्वेश्चन इज दिस: हैज सोसाइटी स्टॉप्ड डिस्क्रिमिनेशन? हैज सोसाइटी स्टॉप्ड डिस्क्रिमिनेशन? हैज like caste system has been eradicated from this country? क्या वाकई कास्ट सिस्टम इरेडिकेट हो गया है? क्या सोसाइटी ने डिस्क्रिमिनेशन छोड़ दिया है? सो टिल द टाइम दोज डिस्क्रिमिनेशन एंड अदर थिंग्स आर गोइंग ऑन, these things, these assistance need to be provided. That's the point here. Okay, because you analyze a policy by whether it has achieved the goals or not. But here goals have not been achieved in totality. So जब तक आपके गोल्स टोटलिटी के साथ अचीव नहीं होते, आपको वो पॉलिसी कंटिन्यू करनी पड़ती है. This is the point here, because it has brought significant improvement in the society. थोड़ा बहुत तो improvement आया है. Maybe in some other years things will be improved. That's the point here. So here we'll move to the next news item. आगे अगली news item पे चलते हैं. So you must be knowing this. There was one news related to heroin seized in Kerala. Okay, so here we have this news in front of you. Now heroin seized in Kerala meant for target markets. Okay, the worth of this heroin was nearly 1200 crores. 1200 crore की heroin ये मिली है. Okay, it's a, you know, you can say narcotic substance, psychotropic substance है, used for recreation, नशे करने के लिए use किया जाता है. Now the point that I am making here, there is this link which is associated with the situation in Afghanistan, and all this is happening post the coming of Taliban, and this was one of the major threats that Indian security experts did pointed out in the past. When US was having negotiations with Taliban, at that time as well we had raised this particular issue, that primarily post the Taliban regime there are chances that drug trade is further going to increase, and this is what is happening here. So basically तालिबान के आने के बाद वहां पे ड्रग ट्रेड जो है वो काफी इंक्रीज हो रहा है. ओके, दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज, एंड दिस इज जस्ट वन कंसाइनमेंट. I hope you are forgetting about there was another, you can say, catch that Indian authorities had in one of the ports. गुजरात के अंदर एक पोर्ट के अंदर भी like it was the worth of that psychotropic substance was in crores. वो भी crores में थी. Okay, एक पोर्ट के ऊपर भी ऐसा एक कंसाइनमेंट पकड़ा गया था. बट हियर इट वाज इन बोट, ये बोट से निकाला गया है. ओके, दे वर ट्राइंग टू स्मगल इट. सो दिस इज अ मेजर प्रॉब्लम हियर. नाउ यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड इंडिया इज ऑल्सो अ गुड मार्केट फॉर देम, बट हियर इट विल बी टारगेटिंग आवर यूथ. दैट्स द मेजर पॉइंट हियर. If this cancer, I am putting up this heroin, these substances as cancerous. If this is to be, you can say, dumped in the Indian market, then this can seriously cause damage to the youth of this country. Not only this, India is going to register a growth rate. People are going to make money in this country. That's why these smugglers, they will keep on treating India as a market. Other point is this, India is not just as a market for them, they want to use India as a transit route. कि भाई इंडिया को as a transit route use करेंगे. Okay, that these drugs will be smuggled first to India. From India they can be put in different, you can say, containers, and then they can be taken to the respective country across the world. इस तरीके से ये drug trade होता है. So the point is this, can we handle it alone? क्या Indian authorities वाकई अकेले इसको पकड़ सकते हैं? The point is no. There is a limit to which Indian authorities can act. So you need to have that cooperation, not only just with, you can say, US and other countries, but also with Afghanistan. It means that to deal with this type of crisis, even if it is required that we have to engage with Taliban, that is also fine. वो भी यहाँ पे बिल्कुल सही समझ में आता है कि आपको अपनी भलाई के लिए, अपने बेनिफिट के लिए तालिबान से भी बातचीत करनी पड़ेगी. दैट्स द पॉइंट हियर. ओके, सो एंगेज विद ऑल, सबके साथ बातचीत कीजिए. नो वन इज सेइंग दैट यू शुड नॉट टॉक विद तालिबान. तालिबान के साथ भी आपको बातचीत करनी पड़ेगी. ओके, सो सादिया इज सेइंग, सर, बट सर, इट हैज बीन सेड सच प्रोडक्ट्स आल्सो अफेक्ट्स द इकोनॉमी. आई मीन even the ministers are involved in such activities to earn money. Okay, see, you need to understand, without having any substantial evidence, we cannot claim those things. These are profitable talks. Now here in UPSC we only look for the objective things. Okay, तो ये सब मसाला न्यूज़पेपर की चीज़ें हैं, वहीं तक रहने दीजिए. We know that some perception is like this as well. कुछ perception इस तरीके का भी बनता है. But if it is going on at that scale, why authorities are not taking actions? That's the major point here. So the things are also related with the governance. Okay, ये governance के साथ भी linked है यहाँ पे. So we need to improve our own governance. That's the major answer here. वो भी एक major answer है जो आपको यहाँ पे समझना पड़ेगा. चलिए, so now we'll directly move to the editorial section. सीधा editorial section पे चलेंगे, and I did provided some, you can say, brief to you about this editorial, that this editorial is basically discussing about why India INC, that's a private sector in India, is not taking a Hanuman leap. Okay, Hanuman leap primarily means that big leap. What's forcing them? What's forcing them to go ahead and become big? That's the point here. So I told you about this thing. It is directly linked with the debate that why private sector, okay, is not going ahead with the investment. What's the problem here? Investment क्यों नहीं pick हो रहा है? That's the point here. And I am telling you this thing. This is not the present debate here. Since Modi ji came to power in 2014, your present government, okay, if we look into the policies of the present government, they have really come out with the corporate friendly policies. काफ़ी अच्छी corporate friendly policies जो हैं यहाँ पे government ने जो हैं वो लेके आए हैं. Okay, you must be knowing this, that when we talk about ease of doing business, things have improved. Okay, चीज़ें काफ़ी अच्छी खासी improved हुई हैं. Now the point is this is what your government has done, but why the private investment is not picking up? It is not just that during the present time things are, you can say, like this. Even prior to that as well, this trend has been observed since 2014. So it's a major thing to be discussed, and this is what this editorial is discussing here. Okay, that what's the issue, why this private sector is not picking up, and this editorial is pointing towards some valuable information to us. And it is saying that this debate has been started by our finance minister only. She flagged some of the concerns regarding the sluggish corporate investment. Okay, that investment by corporates, it is not picking up, and at present everything is to be run by, or you can say the government investment is acting like an engine of your economy. आपकी इकोनॉमी का इंजन आपकी सरकार का पैसा है आज की डेट में. That's the point here. Okay, so government has taken business friendly stance. They have done multiple things to improve the business environment in this country. Like here, the corporate, you can say the tax rate has been reduced to 22% from 30% for the existing companies, and for the new manufacturing companies it has been reduced to 15% from 25%. Now this much reduction in the taxes, it's a significant development. Government काफ़ी ज़्यादा tax reduction कर चुकी है, but despite this arrangement, why the investment is not picking up? That's the major debate. वो सबसे बड़ी debate है और वही हमें समझना है. And why the private investment is significant for us? Now, when we look into this, so private investment, it accounts to nearly 75% of the total capital formation in the economy. So majorly it's a big chunk. 2/3 capital formation in your economy is being done by the private investment only. 2/3 means 75%, 3/4. Okay, not 2/3, 3/4. 3/4 investment, you can say 3/4 capital formation in your economy is primarily done by the private investment. Now it means if at present private investment is not picking up, things are not gloomy, चीजें अच्छी नहीं होंगी. So we have to link it with the demographic dividend as well. Now we do claim that India is at the brink where we have less number of dependents. हमारी population काफ़ी young है, number of dependents are really very less. So एक तरफ हम बात करते हैं demographic dividend की. Okay, आप यहाँ पे demographic dividend की बात करेंगे, but the point here is this: is it possible to have that dividend, to reap that dividend, if the private investment is not there? Because without private investment you cannot create employment. That's the prime logic. So here it is directly linked with the employment generation in your country, and if we are not able to generate employment, this demographic dividend will turn up into demographic disaster, because the youth will demand jobs and they will be on the street. There can be law and order situation. That's the point here. Now we do understand at present government is pushing your economy, but there is a limit to that. सरकार की एक limit है. That's the point here. They have a limited capacity, because everything depends upon the revenue that they are generating. Just to push your economy, they cannot increase the taxes. Government आपके taxes को increase नहीं कर सकती है. Other point is this: government is also statutorily binded by the FRBM Act. गवर्नमेंट अपनी एक्सपेंडिचर को लेके स्टैट्यूटरी लिमिट्स में है. दिस स्टैट्यूटरी लिमिट इज बीइंग डिसाइडेड बाय द FRBM, फिस्कल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बजट मैनेजमेंट एक्ट, दैट गवर्नमेंट कैन नॉट गो ऑन एक्सपेंडिंग इट्स एक्सपेंडिचर. Other point is this: the global financial crisis and the slowing down of the global economy, it is denting your exports. So we do understand this thing, at present. This is not the global financial crisis which is there in the present time. If you observe the sequence of events since 2008, this scenario is going on. 2008 से कुछ ना कुछ इस तरीके का होता जा रहा है. Okay, that after 5 years there will be something new. Some of the troubles are our own creation. कुछ एक गड़बड़ हमारे खुद हमने किए हैं. Okay, because we didn't carry out the required reforms on time. आपने required reforms नहीं किए. We still had a bureaucratic system, bureaucratic working arrangement which is slow. Red tapeism is there. Okay, so you did carried out economic reforms in 1991. आपने 1991 में LPG reform तो किया, but we didn't carried out the administrative reforms because administrative reforms would have been required. Okay, उसको complement करने के लिए administrative reforms तो करना था, वो हमने नहीं किया. The mindset of the bureaucracy is still what it used to be prior to 1991. Instead of acting like a facilitator, they may act like a trouble creator. Okay, इस तरीके की भी चीज आ जाती है कि facilitate करने की बजाय वो trouble create कर रहे हैं. That's the important point here. Okay, so till the time we don't deal with these particular issues, things will not change. Now, government took the decision in the budget of 2022 that it will go ahead with the capital expenditure. Okay, कि सरकार जो है capital expenditure करेगी, majorly big chunks में पैसा खर्च करेगी. The government will invest money in the infrastructure creation. Okay, कि infrastructure create करने में government help करेगी, and this was a significant thing. But the point is this government spending, it will take some time to show the results. It is not possible that within 1 year, 1 or 2 years, you may be able to see the results. The results may come in 3rd and 4th year. So whatever investment that they are doing right now, whatever infrastructure that they are creating right now, those things are required because at the end of the day, it will benefit the private investment. जैसे ही आपके country के अंदर private investment start होगा, अभी भी चल रहा है थोड़ा बहुत, major push पे आएगा, they will utilize the same infrastructure that has been created utilizing the public funds. Public funds के द्वारा बनाया गया infrastructure को use करेंगे वो, and it will further, you can say, enhance or improve your economic potential. That's the point here. Okay, but till that point, experts are suggesting that there needs to be expansion in public investment. It has to be continued. Government should not stop. Government should not stop. सरकार को रुकना नहीं चाहिए because the situation is like this. And the point is this, even the institutions like IMF, now IMF never suggests that कि आप सरकारी पैसा खर्च करो. IMF never suggests that public sector, public spending should be increased. But here, today IMF is also saying that it is required, specifically in the developing countries, that public investment is the key. It can play important role here. And this is what is expected and this is what is to be done. वही चीज आज की डेट में हमें करने की जरूरत है. Okay, so I told you about this thing. Infrastructure is the key here because this infrastructure that we are creating today will be utilized by your economy in the coming years. That's a rightful expenditure. Government should minimize the expenditure on subsidies, and these are the right areas where government can carry forward, or you can say move ahead with the expenditure. So this is the major point that we have to understand. Other important and the critical thing that the present regime have to address is inflation targeting. Inflation को control करना बहुत जरूरी है, because if inflation is not within the limits, expenditure, or you can say the private investment, may not start because they will look for the environment. अगर inflation ज़्यादा होगा, people will not give money, the demand will remain less. So here inflation targeting is also critical. Now there are few things that we have to realize it. RBI is trying its level best by increasing the interest rates to target the inflation, but the inflation is still not coming down. वो अपनी लिमिट्स में नहीं आ पा रहा है इन्फ्लेशन. तो अब आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा? You have to make sure that productivity in sectors like agriculture, okay, कि आप agriculture के अंदर productivity को increase करेंगे. Now in agriculture, if you are talking about improvement in productivity, okay, the production of the crop will be more. As the production of the crop will be more, it will reduce the inflationary tendencies. Supply बढ़ेगी तो price थोड़ा कम हो जाएगा. आपकी तरफ से supply बढ़ेगी तो
प्राइस थोड़ा कम हो जाएगा. So here the major focus should be to target the food inflation, and food inflation can be targeted by increasing the supply of the food items. Suppose you are domestically you are growing palm oil. आप यहां पे पाम की कल्टीवेशन करते हो एंड यू विल रिड्यूस योर इंपोर्ट डिपेंडेंस. आपको भी ऑयल इंपोर्ट करना पड़ता है, एडिबल ऑयल इंपोर्ट करना पड़ता है. आई एम सेइंग दैट मेक श्योर दैट एडिक्वेट, यू कैन से, productivity is enhanced, and whatever is our requirement, that much amount of crop is produced within India. That will reduce the inflation significantly. और अगर food inflation control आएगा, definitely it will be a really good thing because the environment will be suitable for the investment then. लोगों का पैसा थोड़ा बचेगा, they will divert that money in other areas, वो दूसरी जगहों पे पैसा खर्च करेंगे. So that's why this is what is required right now. RBI has its limitation. RBI से अभी नहीं हो पा रहा है. Situation is like this. This is the global scenario. Monetary policy will have the limitation. Ukraine Russia की लड़ाई की वजह से commodity prices are increasing. Okay. So to make sure that those prices are manageable in the domestic market, we have to increase the supply. That will be only possible if we enhance the productivity of the agriculture products. This is the answer. So ये एक major different angle इन्होंने suggest किया है. ठीक है जी. So we'll move to the next editorial. Next editorial is regarding the microchips, semiconductor chips. Okay, so you must be knowing this. There are only few countries which are manufacturing the microchips, semiconductor chips, and these are really significant components of each and every electronic device. So here we are giving this lecture to you through the internet and other arrangements. The equipments that we are using, it also comprise of these microchips. So there are few countries which are manufacturing this. Okay, so Taiwan, South Korea, US, Japan, Netherlands, China, these are the small countries. But the point is this, because of the COVID situation and the Ukraine-Russia war, COVID situation और Ukraine-Russia war की वजह से global supply chain has been impacted. Global supply chain, okay, it has been completely disrupted, and it has impacted Indian industries as well. Majorly when we talk about automobile industry, okay, when there was a shortage of, you can say, microchips in the market, so it was your automobile industry, your telecom industry, mobile manufacturing and all, those were majorly impacted, and India is one of the major exporter of automobiles. और वहाँ पे microchips ना होने की वजह से cars का manufacture नहीं हो पा रहा था. So this is what the present scenario is. Now to deal with this type of situation, government did come out with something called production linked incentive scheme. तो एक सरकारी स्कीम है that government is giving incentives for the domestic manufacturing of microchips in this country. Now the major point is this: by just announcing this production linked incentive scheme, things are not going to start, because you have to create an environment for the manufacturing of these particular chips. There are some areas which are to be addressed. The manufacturing of microchips, it requires a huge investment. The chip manufacturing plant may cost 15 to 20 billion dollars, and it may take years to come to the profitability. कुछ साल लग जाएंगे profitable होने में. This is the significant point here. Now the link is this: do we have arrangement for long term credit? क्या आपकी इंडियन मार्केट में लॉन्ग टर्म क्रेडिट देने का सिस्टम है? There is a doubt over it. Okay, because in the past as well this debate was there that we need to have bigger banks which are having the big chunk of, you can say, money, so that they can lend money for a longer tenure. Because it is not just about these, you can say, microchips plant establishment, it is also there in your infrastructure projects as well. तो ये डिमांड आज की नहीं है, ये पहले की डिबेट है. But along with this, there is another requirement that is critical, is steady electricity and billions of gallons of clean water. Now the point is this: are we in a state, are the state governments capable enough to assure steady electricity and that clean water, because that is going to be a major challenge. ये हमारे लिए एक major challenge है. Why I am saying that it's a challenge? So when we look into the electricity point of view, okay, so एक चीज समझ में आती है that state discoms they are not in good shape. आपके state discoms की हालत हमेशा पतली रहती है इंडिया के अंदर. Okay, so as they are not in good shape, definitely they will feel trouble to manage the supply for electricity. इतना आसान नहीं होने वाला है. This is the point here. This is what we need to understand. And other point is the competition that India had to deal with. Why this competition is increasing? Because now every major economic power is investing in the microchip manufacturing. It is not just one country or two country. Big players, they are entering this because they have recognized this thing that domestic manufacturing of these microchips are important, because anything can happen at any time in this world and you cannot remain dependent on other countries. China में अगर लॉकडाउन लगेगा तो आपकी मार्केट इंपैक्ट हो जाएगी. That's the major point here. So each and every country, means different big powers specifically, they are investing in it, and that's why this is also a challenge that we have to deal with. क्या आपकी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इतनी कॉम्पिटिटिव हो पाएगी? There is a point to be discussed. Okay, वो चीज मेजर डिस्कस करना है हमको. So we'll move to the next editorial. अगले editorial पे चलते हैं. Okay, so let's try to find out what exactly is there. So these two editorials we have discussed. Okay, so here this editorial is pointing towards the coalition of the world. Okay, see, the point is this: at present there are certain doubts over the international arrangement, because United Nations is somehow appearing to be weak or inadequate to deal with the present crisis. This Ukraine-Russia war has started and UN has not been able to stop it. Okay, it completely goes against the mandate of United Nations. Primary reason for the establishment of UN was that it should try to stop the wars in future. But यहाँ पे लड़ाई हो रही है and situation can turn up really bad in the coming times. Suppose if Russia end up using the nuclear weapon, then certainly you have to raise doubt over the present arrangement of United Nations, that things are seriously in a wrong direction. So here you need to understand one thing. In 1920 League of Nations was established. It was sort of a first intergovernmental organization with an aim to promote international cooperation, but it outlived its utility by the World War II because it was not able to stop World War II. Okay, then UN took that place. Then there was a formation of United Nations, that in future the countries will cooperate with each other to discuss the common problems and to find the common solutions. Common solution find out करेंगे, common problems को deal करेंगे and all those things. Okay, so for that this arrangement was made. For that this arrangement was made. Now if you look into the present scenario, we are living in a divided world. At present the world is absolutely divided. Specifically at one point you will have on one side you will see the Western powers are there. Okay, on the other side you have, you can say, Russia, China partnership. So this is how things are turning up. Now India has this responsibility to handle the presidency of G20 as well as SCO. Now these two, you can say, are two different roles that India will be playing. The point here is this: the success of India's presidency will depend whether we will be able to build the consensus on the issues or not. क्या हम consensus बना पाएंगे? That's the major point here. Okay, this is what is going to assure the capability of India. So we have to be very dexterous, you have to be very smart, because the present situation is of a gridlock. There is a grid, no one is moving. US and the West, they are also not lowering down their tone. Russia and China, they are also adamant with their ideas. China is expansionist, Russia is troubling Ukraine these days. West wants to put up restrictions on Russia and China. That's the major point here. So both blocs are appearing to be in a gridlock. They are not cooperating, And the point is this, in this environment it will be very difficult to come out with something conclusive. तो कुछ conclusive हम शायद ना निकाल पाएं. That's a challenge we have to deal with. ये चीज है. So when we look into the creation, why this world is appearing to be divided, so both sides are doing some things. Okay, it is not that Russia, China is doing everything. Both sides are doing some things. Okay, if you look into the present arrangement of United States, US is opting for partnerships. Okay, US is opting for partnership. Now when you are going for specific partnerships, that is not going to be inclusive. अगर आप क्वाड बनाते हो तो सिर्फ डेमोक्रेसीज को इंक्लूड करते हो. व्हाट अबाउट द रेस्ट? Okay, what about the rest? If they are coming out with something called Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, okay, अब Indo-Pacific Economic Framework US announced it and China is left out of it. Now it is not going to be inclusive at all. So at some point you have to blame these countries as well, that their mindset is also exclusive in nature, that they want to keep Russia and China out. That's the point here. Now other point is this, okay, that G7 summit, it endorsed the goal of a cooperative international climate club, okay, to accelerate the climate action outside United Nations. Why can't we deal with the climate issues at the level of UN? Why they want to have a separate international climate club? What's the point here? So this is also a bad thing. WTO, if you look into that, WTO is dysfunctional at present. They are not able to come out with some conclusion क्योंकि उनका minimum quorum complete नहीं हो रहा है, and that institution is dysfunctional. They are not able to resolve the dispute in the present scenario. That's the point. Then we know that on the other side, Russia, China, they are combining, they are working as a nexus, they are working as a team, and they see West to be their major enemy, major threat. That's the point here. So China is developing its own idea, it is developing its own multilateral institutions. They want to challenge the present arrangement because China thinks that the present arrangement is, you can say, biased in the favor of West. कि आज का जो अरेंजमेंट है UN, WTO, IMF, ये सब कुछ वेस्टर्न इकोनॉमीज के अकॉर्डिंग चलता है, एंड चाइना वांट्स टू हैव अ सिस्टम व्हिच शुड बी वर्किंग एज पर चाइना. सो दे आर इन्वेस्टिंग इन द मल्टीलेटरल इंस्टीट्यूशंस. सो ब्रिक्स में चाइना ने इन्वेस्ट किया है. ओके, दे हैव इन्वेस्टेड इन एशिया इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंक, AIIB. China is working upon Belt and Road Initiative. Okay, so this is the Chinese design, that they want a separate arrangement. They want a separate arrangement. China did came out with something called Global Development Initiative. This is what the system is. So both sides are trying to divide. That's why it will be a challenge for us how you can make consensus, how you can make sure that both the parties are on table and there is some fruitful discussion to be carried out between them. कि किस तरीके से वो discussion arrange की जाएगी, that will assure India's ability. If we are able to make consensus on different issues, it will portray India as a powerful, influential country. That's the major point here. So it's an basically it's an opportunity for us. This is the time to live by the values of Vaisudhaiva Kutumbakam. आज वाकई इस पूरी दुनिया को वासुदेव कुटुंबकम की जरूरत है. A healing touch, and India can definitely do that because somehow we might be accepted by both the parties. दोनों साइड हमें जो है accept करेंगी. That's the point here. Okay, this is the major point. So one student is asking this thing, sir, nowadays India becoming private sector, is that government or republic and poors, is that good for our republic? India is poor. See, privatization is not a bad word. First of all, you need to understand what led to the, you can say, what is forcing the government to privatize it. क्या रीजन है कि गवर्नमेंट प्राइवेटाइजेशन की तरफ जा रही है या बैंक को प्राइवेटाइज कर रही है, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. सो मेजर रीजन इज दिस, समथिंग रॉन्ग मस्ट हैव बीन देयर इन द पब्लिक सेक्टर वर्किंग, समथिंग रॉन्ग मस्ट हैव बीन देयर इन द ब्यूरोक्रेटिक सेटअप. कुछ तो गड़बड़ होगी ना, तभी तो सरकार इस तरफ जा रही है. So you need to identify this thing. Now your government is dictated and guided by something called minimum government, maximum governance. So here government is trying to minimize the size of the government. When government is minimizing the size, it primarily means that that space will be occupied by the private sector. जहां जहां से government पीछे हटेगी, private sector वहां पे आएगा. And it has been tested and proven that private sector produces efficiency. It provides more choices to the people. It makes the things price competitive. जहां पे competition आता है वहां पे prices भी कम आते हैं और quality भी improve होती है. So the citizen of the country, they will get benefited out of it. लोगों को यहाँ पे benefit होता है. This is the major point here. Okay, it's a debatable thing that can government privatize each and every sector? No, we are not saying that. पुलिस नहीं प्राइवेटाइज कर सकते. You cannot privatize the judiciary either. Okay, so in those sectors definitely we need to have government presence. That's the point here. Yes, you are saying objective is to maximize the profit. Okay, but there is nothing wrong if profit is being made with ethical means. I am very serious about one thing called corporate governance. If private sector is adhering by the values of corporate governance, if they are fulfilling their responsibility under CSR, corporate social responsibility के अंदर अपनी जो भी responsibility है उसको fulfill कर रहे हैं, तो there is no harm in that. It is going to benefit the society as a whole. That's the logic. Okay, so we'll move to the next editorial. Next debate is around this thing. It is saying that inflation peaks in Europe as Russia squeezes the oil supply. Now I told you about one thing. Those who are connected with us in this The Hindu analysis, I mentioned about the three generals that are used by the Russians. One was General Oil, okay, one was General Food, and the other was General Winter. It is part of their military tactics that as oil prices will increase, life is going to be difficult in Europe. People in Europe, they will feel the burden. They will protest against their government. As food prices are going to increase, there will be impact in Africa. Okay, because Russia and Ukraine, they export a lot of, you can say, grains, wheat to the African nations. So there will be impact in Africa and Africa will be under crisis. Automatically the Western responsible democracies, they will feel the burn, they will feel the pressure. उनके ऊपर major pressure पड़ेगा. And then was the winter, that when winter is going to be there, there will be demand for energy. यहाँ पे वहाँ पे यूरोप के अंदर सर्दी को मैनेज करने के लिए आपको ज़्यादा गैस चाहिए. The demand for energy will increase significantly. So gas and oil दोनों include हो गया इसमें. The demand for energy is further going to increase significantly. Okay, this is what the logic is about. This is what Putin is capturing right now. That as the prices for gas and energy is going to increase, there will be inflationary tendency in the whole of Europe. People will come under pressure. People will put pressure on their government. There will be protests across the Europe. Okay, because there is no chance, no way that these European countries can substitute the Russian gas, because this Russian gas was available at a really economical price. बहुत ही सस्ते दाम पे मिल रही थी उनको. आप वेस्ट एशिया से, आप कतर से गैस लेके आओगे, आप सऊदी अरब से ऑयल लेके आओगे, वो इतना मैनेजेबल नहीं हो सकता है. That's the point here. And this is what Russia wanted to put pressure on the whole of Europe, so that the Europe should realize that Russia has a legitimate cause and it should stop its support to the Ukrainians right now. This is what the point is. Now there is another interesting thing that Russians wanted to achieve, that all this development, when people will protest, government will be under pressure, and at that time there will be rise of right wing in different European countries. कि वहां पे right wing का rise होगा. Right wing rise means that they will fight for their cultural identity. Okay, they will fight for their cultural identity, and when they will look into their cultural identity, they will recognize that they are Europeans, कि वो लोग यूरोपियन हैं, and Russians are also Europeans. That these countries with the right wing in power, there will be realization that they have to work along Russia instead of just, you can say, acting on the dictation of United States. US से इन्फ्लुएंस होने की बजाय एक रियलाइजेशन होना जरूरी है that they are European first. There is separate European identity and Russia is also a component of that. This is the other achievement that Russians wanted to have. It may not come out with the conclusion in the recent time. जरूरी नहीं है कि अभी अभी आपको पता लग जाएगा कि रशियन आइडेंटिटी के लिए वो फाइट कर, मतलब यूरोपियन आइडेंटिटी के लिए वो फाइट कर रहे हैं, बट इट मे बी देयर इन द कमिंग टाइम्स. आने वाले कुछ टाइम के अंदर ये भी एक चीज हो सकती है. सो दिस इज व्हाट यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड. दैट्स द अदर लॉजिक दैट वी हैव टू कीप इन आवर माइंड. ओके, सो विल मूव टू द नेक्स्ट न्यूज. अगले चलते हैं. सो दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव डिस्कस्ड. ओके, तो दिल्ली के अंदर क्या चल रहा है अब? ग्रेडेड एक्शन प्लान अगेंस्ट एयर पॉल्यूशन. ओके, सो वी नीड टू डील विद दिस इन डिटेल. इसको थोड़ा डिटेल में जानेंगे कि ये क्या है ग्रेडेड एक्शन प्लान. ग्रेड क्या है? 1 ग्रेड, 2 ग्रेड, 3 ग्रेड. व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इट इज अबाउट? सो बेसिकली इट्स अबाउट द स्टेज that is to be there. At different stages the government response is going to be different. See, the point is this: Delhi is not a homogeneous city. Okay, different areas are there in Delhi. There are chances sometimes West Delhi is having more pollution. ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता कि पूरे दिल्ली के अंदर आप सेम restriction लगा दो. It may be the situation that West Delhi may require some special attention. Okay, and accordingly you have to take that measure. So this is what this revised action plan is about. Now other important point is this: there are a lot of things that depend on areas which are beyond Delhi. I am talking about the neighboring areas. Okay, so you have to make sure that there need to be a coordination between the neighboring states, say UP, Haryana as well as Punjab. सबके साथ मिलकर आपको काम करने की जरूरत है. Without that it will be difficult to deal with this particular problem faced by Delhi every year. So there are few things that you have to understand here. So as per the present arrangement, the revised arrangement of, you can say, action plan, things are to be decided in 4 different stages. Okay, so they have categorized 4 stages based on the level of pollution, based on the level of air quality. So here, if the air quality is ranging between 201 to 300, it will be said to be poor air quality. To deal with poor air quality, the response have to be different. अलग टाइप का response चाहिए होगा. If situation becomes very poor, you may require some additional measures. Those are also decided. If further air quality deteriorates and it reaches us to severe air quality, then also there are measures, more stringent measures. Stage 4, that is severe plus, a very extreme steps might the government will take. Okay, this is how things are to be done. Now these measures also include tuning of your engines, that people may be asked to tune their engine. आप अपने इंजन की सर्विस करवाइए, आप अपने एयर प्रेशर जो होता है टायर का उसको एडिक्वेट रखिए. यू नीड टू अपडेट योर PUC, pollution under control certificates. All these things are to be put in place now, and it's a really important thing because right now Diwali is round the corner. Diwali भी आएगी, पटाखों का pollution भी होगा. Okay, after that we already know that Haryana, Punjab, they have already started the stubble burning. I traveled from Chandigarh to Hisar. I found multiple areas across the highway, those were burning. So crop burning has also started. Okay, it is going on. I am talking about Haryana. It must have been there in Punjab side as well. Punjab में भी ऐसा ही हो रहा होगा. Stubble burning start हो चुकी है, अच्छे से हो रही है. Okay, the governments, it will be difficult for them to regulate it. बहुत difficult है regulate करना, इतना आसान नहीं है. But you need to have the cooperation from these particular states. And to look into this, center has already set up something called Commission for Air Quality Management in NCR and in adjoining areas. So this commission has already been formed. The task of the commission is to coordinate with other states. बाकी स्टेट्स के साथ कोऑर्डिनेट करना एंड टू एग्जीक्यूट दीज पर्टिकुलर स्ट्रेटजीज. ओके, इन स्ट्रेटजीज को एग्जीक्यूट करना, दिस इज द ओवरऑल मैंडेट ऑफ दिस थिंग एंड इट्स अ रियली गुड थिंग दैट यू आर कोऑपरेटिंग विद द, यू कैन सी, यू आर सीकिंग द कोऑपरेशन ऑफ अदर स्टेट्स एज वेल. Now there are few developments which are going to happen in the near time. So Diwali is going to be there on 24th. Okay, 24th October की दिवाली है. Stubble burning will peak in November. November में stubble burning peak होगा. Okay, it will continue from October and it will peak in November. So it is expected that this time in Diwali situation is going to be relatively stable. थोड़ी stable रहेगी, but it should be stopped to getting worst. This is what the government is fighting right now. तो ऑटोमेटिकली एक तो दिवाली नवंबर में नहीं पड़ रही है, दिवाली अक्टूबर में है एंड थिंग्स विल बी रिलेटिवली बेटर दिस टाइम. थोड़ा बहुत अभी भी रहेगा, बट some action needs to be required. Government may have to provide more machines for the management of stubble this year. More machines are to be required. Some additional steps might have to be taken by the governments, not only of Delhi but also of Haryana and Punjab, to persuade farmers to not to burn their crop. वो चीज करने की जरूरत पड़ेगी, उसके लिए वो कोऑर्डिनेशन कमेटी, कमीशन जो बनाया है वो हेल्प करेगा. Now there are different stages and accordingly different stages will command different response. So take example, stage 1 पे क्या क्या किया जाएगा. If the pollution level is at stage 1, so they are talking about banning of construction and demolition activities. आपकी construction और demolition activities ban हो जाएंगी. Okay, agencies, they will assure that there is solid waste management to be carried out, because होता क्या है, solid waste के नाम पे हम आग लगा देते हैं. Okay, there is this tendency where municipal waste is being burnt. पेड़ से पत्ते गिरे, झाड़ू से पत्ते इकट्ठे किए, कोने में लेके गए और आग लगा दी. दिस इज द कॉमन व्यू, लाइक यही एक कॉमन चीज नजारा देखने को मिलता है. सो दिस टाइम गवर्नमेंट इज वेरी, यू कैन से, सीरियस अबाउट इट, एंड हियर दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट इम्पोजिंग फाइन्स. Heavy fines will be imposed who are going for this open burning of solid waste. Other point is this, government has also taken some steps to mechanically clean the roads. सड़कों पे पानी भी छिड़का जाएगा टाइम टू टाइम, मैकेनिकली रोड्स भी क्लीन की जाएंगी. ओके, नाउ इज द स्टेज 2. अगर स्टेज 2 पे आती है बात, ओके, देन देयर विल बी अ मैकेनाइज्ड स्वीपिंग ऑफ रोड्स डेली. हर रोज सड़कें साफ होंगी. एवरी डे देयर विल बी स्प्रिंकलिंग ऑफ वाटर टू स्प्रेस द डस्ट. अथॉरिटीज, they would need to ensure uninterrupted power supply to discourage the use of generators. That will be also assured here. कहीं पे भी जनरेटर ना चले, रिक्वायरमेंट ना हो, power supply is also to be provided. This is the important thing, because earlier हम कभी इन चीजों के बारे में सोचते ही नहीं थे. At the third stage, okay, frequency of cleaning roads will further intensify. Sprinkling will be done, okay, and authorities will levy different rates on public transport services to off the peak travel. That's the point here. मतलब it may be subsidized. जब peak hour होते हैं टिकटें सस्ती हो जाएंगी, so that people they opt for public transport. That's the point here. And in the third stage there will be strict ban on all construction activities except for the ongoing construction of railways, airport and hospitals. वो चलता रहेगा, बाकी construction activity बिल्कुल रुक जाएगी. At this stage itself, government will be empowered to impose restriction on BS3 petrol and BS4 diesel engine. They may ask the people to not to use BS3 petrol vehicle and BS4 diesel vehicles. सड़क से वो हट ही जाएंगे, बैन हो जाएंगे. This will be the point. And in the last stage, if things will turn to be dangerous, okay, entry of trucks will be banned except those carrying the essential commodities. Okay, 4 vehicles, diesel vehicles, they will be banned. वो ban हो जाएंगे. This is what the graded action plan is about. So at different stages the government will be empowered to take these particular steps to stop the pollution this time. Okay, that's the point here. नाउ विल मूव टू द नेक्स्ट न्यूज, आगे चलते हैं, देखते हैं और क्या खास है. सो दिस वाज रिगार्डिंग योर पोल्यूशन थिंग. ओके, तो अब चलते हैं. कैंपेन अगेंस्ट ड्रग्स विल बी नेशनल ड्राइव. दिस इज व्हाट योर होम मिनिस्टर इज सेइंग एंड इट इज वेरी मच रिक्वायर्ड एज वेल. देखिए ये रिक्वायर भी है, ड्रग्स के अगेंस्ट जरूर कोई मूवमेंट होना चाहिए. ओके, and government is thinking that they will have a target to destroy 75,000 kg of psychotropic substances. 75,000 kg के राउंड जो है इनका टारगेट है, हम खत्म करेंगे. Now first of all you need to understand one thing here. This is just the supply side. आप तो सप्लाई साइड को एड्रेस कर रहे हो कि जी मार्केट में इतना आएगा इलीगली तो हम उसको डिस्ट्रॉय करेंगे. Why government is not thinking to address the demand side? Demand side का क्या हुआ? Because there is a demand, people are consuming these things, then only there is a supply. ये तो इस तरीके से चल रहा है सिस्टम. ओके, लोग कंज्यूम करते हैं, then only there is a supply. So here government is just saying that 75,000 kg हमारा destruction का target होगा. I am pointing about this thing. What about creating awareness? What about educating people regarding the ill effects of the consumption of drugs? वो कौन करेगा? That should start right from the school level. वो तो स्कूल से ही आपको करना पड़ेगा, because these days consumptions also start in the schools. स्कूल लेवल पे जब कंजम्पशन शुरू हो रहा है तो उसको एड्रेस भी आपको वहीं करना पड़ेगा थ्रू योर एजुकेशन. दिस इज द इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट हियर. ओके, ये चीज समझना जरूरी है. So yes, I do agree government have to broke the supply side. वो तो तोड़ेंगे, but ये awareness campaign, use of social media to create awareness among the masses that here this is the damage that can happen to you. ये आपको इतना नुकसान हो सकता है अगर आप ये drugs consume कर रहे हो. And the point is this, like initially people may go for say poppy consumption कि भी जी हमने marijuana consume कर लिया, गांजा मार लिया, this and that. People they have this mindset. My point is this is just the gateway drug. ये तो सिर्फ gateway drug है. Things can turn up worst. आप यहां से शुरू हो जाओगे और you can end up consuming cocaine, heroin. That is going to be really troublesome. So here you need to protect your youth by creating awareness. That is only possible through the education. So we need to keep this thing in our mind as well. ये चीज भी हमें थोड़ा सा हमें दिमाग में रखना पड़ेगा. By just addressing the supply side चीजें इतनी आसानी से ठीक नहीं होंगी. Okay, so that's the point here. So other than that, okay, Indian Navy to join Malabar exercise. So we will be picking it up in detail. थोड़ा डिटेल में जानेंगे इसके बारे में क्या है, हमारे लिए एग्जाम सेंट्रिक क्या है. See, you need to understand one thing. This Malabar exercise initially it was started between India and US. इंडिया एंड यूएस के बीच में स्टार्ट हुआ था. लेटर ऑन आफ्टर 2014 जापान ज्वाइंड इट. ओके, जापान ने 2014 में ज्वाइन किया. आफ्टर दैट इन 2018 ऑस्ट्रेलिया ऑल्सो ज्वाइंड इट. सो राइट नाउ इफ यू लुक इनटू द प्रेजेंट अरेंजमेंट ऑफ दिस मालाबार एक्सरसाइज, इट विल हैव इंडिया, ओके, यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स, जापान एंड ऑस्ट्रेलिया. Now all these are part of your something called Quad. We do claim that Quad is not having a military role. हमें ये लगता है कि Quad जो है वो उसका military role नहीं है. This is what the government of India is stating. Okay, we are very categorical about it that Quad doesn't have a military role. We don't explore the military role for Quad. So Russia or China no need to be worry about it. भी डरने की कोई बात नहीं है. इंडिया कभी भी अपनी मिलिट्री अलायंस में नहीं जाएगा. तो रशिया चाइना को हम बोलते हैं ऐसा. बट द पॉइंट इज दिस, व्हेन दीज 4 countries, okay, who are member of Quad and their navies are carrying out this exercise called Malabar, it raises significant doubt in the minds of Chinese as well as Russians. This is what is significant here, because this development is being pointed out. So Malabar exercise, it's a peaceful thing, but ये एक doubt है जो यहाँ raise किया जाता है. See, no one can stop India to carry out its military engagements, we need to participate in the military exercises. Okay, it's important because you have to develop that coordination, that in future if it is required that we may be, you can say, going for a joint mission with these countries. So your navy, they need to be accustomed to each other. भाई आपकी नेवी एक दूसरे के साथ प्रैक्टिस तो करे, समझे तो सही कैसे एक दूसरे के साथ काम करना है. So for the practice purpose and all, it's a really good thing. Other point is this, these particular developments, they do have a signaling, that is geostrategic signaling as well, that China should not take India for granted, that we are coming out with this Malabar exercise. If you are not mending your ways, we will be forced to go ahead and get closer to these countries. हम मजबूर हो जाएंगे कि हम इनके ज़्यादा करीब चले जाएं. So don't take us for granted. Try to normalize the situation in the border areas, because if you don't mend your ways in border areas, this is what we can do in the ocean. That's the point here. Okay, so it's a geostrategic messaging as well which is being done. Now other news that we will be looking into is Uddhav faction. It submits the alternative symbol and party names to Election Commission. Okay, so you need to understand this is regarding the split in Shiv Sena. Okay, so split has taken place in Shiv Sena. Now the fundamental question is about who will use, okay, who will use the party symbol, because both sides are claiming that they are real Shiv Sena. So right now Election Commission is looking into this, that which is real Shiv Sena, कि वाकई शिव सेना कौन सी है, and they have frozen the existing symbol. तो existing symbol तो Election Commission has categorically said that no faction will use that symbol. Okay, other point is this new alternative has been given to them. Now the point is this, why this symbol is important. See, you need to understand, symbol is directly connected with the identity of the party. Okay, this symbol, okay, is directly connected with the identity of the political party. So Election Commission has frozen those symbols primarily with the reason that no one should take advantage of this situation, because people will carry this thing in the mind, and elections in BMC is going to be conducted. Okay, they are around the corner. So right now Election Commission is saying that till the time they are not concluding which is real Shiv Sena, जब तक वो ये conclude नहीं करते कि असली शिव सेना कौन सी है, till that time no one will use the symbol. That's the point here. And Election Commission, it will take some more time by Election Commission to come out with something inclusive. तो कुछ time लगेगा उसको आने में. Okay, that was the major point here. तो वही चीज़ आपको समझनी है. So we'll directly move to the next. आगे चलते हैं. So here we have discussed these things. ये चीज़ हमने discuss कर ली है. Uddhav faction submits alternative, you can say alternate symbol. We have discussed about it. Okay. So here we will be dealing with this particular news article which is saying that UN peacekeepers need robust mandate to be able to go after the armed group. Now India is coming out with this particular statement because we are very concerned about the lives of soldiers, Indian soldiers. We are one of the major contributors when it comes to UN peacekeeping force. जब हम UN peacekeeping force की बात करते हैं तो इंडिया एक responsible contributor है. That's the point here. So we have to be very concerned about it. So here this is what they are suggesting, that there need to be a robust mandate, that if required some additional power should be given to the peacekeepers on ground. At the end of the day they have to defend themselves. Okay, these are not ordinary circumstances, these are rather extraordinary environment and circumstances within which these peacekeepers are operating. तो चीज़ें इतनी ठीक नहीं है. Okay, तो कुछ एडिशनल आपको पावर्स देनी पड़ेगी. दिस इज व्हाट इंडिया इज डिमांडिंग. नाउ दिस पीस कीपर्स, व्हाई इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अस, ये हमारे लिए इंपॉर्टेंट क्यों है? सी, यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड वन थिंग. वी डू क्लेम, ओके, इंडिया क्लेम दैट इंडिया शुड बी गिवन परमानेंट मेंबरशिप, ओके, permanent membership in United Nations Security Council. We do claim that. And one of the major point that India put up is this: India is one of the major contributors in the UN peacekeeping force. So we have a legitimate claim. because it is the United Nations Security Council which decides where these peacekeepers are to be used. यहाँ पे Security Council वो decision लेता है कि कहाँ पे इनको place करना है. So we do have a legitimate claim. As we are contributing in terms of soldiers, so something is to be given to India as well. This is the point here. Okay, that's the logic. This is what we need to understand. So it's a statement that we make that we are a responsible nation. We need to be given that status. We are representing 17.4% of the global population, and we do have a legitimate claim as a permanent member of United Nations Security Council. This is what the point is about. Okay, तो ये एक major चीज है. So we'll look into other point. Other than this, there is this news. Okay, Crimea bridge blast, an act of terrorism by Ukraine. This is what Russian president is saying. Now situation is not that great. Why I am saying this? Because globally this debate is going on that is Ukraine pushing Russians too much? Is Ukraine pushing the Putin too much? That's the debate which is being done by them. Because right now this Crimea, okay, the bridge has been blasted, and this has not gone well with the Russians, because as the bridge has been blasted, it will impact the supply chains. यहाँ पे supply chain को impact होगा. That's the point here. Okay, so already I pointed out about the things that are going on in this particular region. The Russian forces are under attack. There is a Dnieper river that is going. Okay, that river has already been disconnected. वहाँ पे already एक disconnect आ गया है. Supply chains are impacted. 20,000 to 30,000 Russian soldiers are located here. Winter is already in place. So when winter in Soviet Union, means in Russia, is in place, primarily there are chances that supply chains will be disrupted, because the movement of the forces will become extremely difficult. In this scenario, when circumstances are going against Russians, will Putin go for the nuclear weapon? This is what the whole world is debating right now. पूरी दुनिया इस चीज को डिबेट कर रही है कि पुतिन न्यूक्लियर वेपन यूज करेंगे कि नहीं करेंगे, because these events are showing that too much pressure has been put on Russia. That one thing is for sure, that Russia is not winning this war. That has been completely portrayed by the current events, because Ukrainians are fighting back. The will of the Russian soldiers to fight might not be visible. That's the point here. Okay, so we need to learn from the history. If we learn from the history, right from the Napoleon and to the Nazis, all experienced defeat primarily because of the Russian winters. That's the major logic. Okay, so this is what is going on right now, and this is what we have for today's session. Again, I would like to tell you one thing. From 12th of October, we are starting with the current affairs course. Okay, so 499 is the course fee for students who are already enrolled. For the new students, the prices are going to be 999. Okay, so this is the new initiative by Raj Malhotra IAS. So you can connect with us. The admissions are already open. Thank you very much.